game and still has to grind here for her par as we go back to the tee. And Rose Zhang announced and ready to fire down this first fairway here at 10.
Rose is so famous for the one-handed finish, even when it's good. That went way left of where she wanted and deserved that one-handed finish. But
on the stimp meter, you're not going to give yourself a ton of great looks for birdie this week, and already seen very, very early returns how different and difficult the scoring might be. So the green is clear. Rose arriving on the scene. Emma Talley out walking with this group, and Emma, that's not the tee shot we would expect to see from Rose off of the first swing of the day.
No, it's not. She got very lucky, though. She's about a foot inside the massive rough. I had to run up here. My volunteer was using the restroom, so sorry that I'm a little out of breath. But she's got about 172 yards, so she does have a lot of room to work with, which will be easy coming from the shorter rough than the higher rough.
Yeah, with this shorter rough, she's definitely going to have to play for some release. The rough will take away any amount of spin, so I want to make sure that she hits it in front of the green and have it run up. She'll have a long iron in. Shouldn't be a problem.
Rose Zhang, she is going to probably run something up there. She's got to leave this one short, if anything.
Try to get the ball to hook out of that rough. Get scooting. Right there. That's a good leave.
Yeah, hopefully it didn't settle down too much. Sometimes it can be that awkward between the first cut and the rough. If it's a decent lie, it should be a problem for Rose.
To see what she can do this week, even after that drive.
This is one of those chip shots she can almost think she could make if it's setting up nice. Just get it on the green and have it release. Oh, almost.
The early call. I mean, not even a half an hour into the show, you almost had the call of the chip in.
It looked perfect. It looked like it was just got to get it going.
Yes, it was a good one. I kind of thought the same thing. I'm like, I reckon this could go in.
You saw the different ways that Celine chipped it, where the group before, Lexi, had used her putter. Different ways to do it. But Rose's chip much easier in that rough than off the tight fairway.
These players are going to have to really adjust after this first hole. It's just a lot cooler than yesterday, like I said before. And
par 3 11th. So alongside her, Lexi Thompson was able to convert her par save. And that opens the green now for Rose Zhang. Tee shot up the hill. Boy, she was staring anxiously, but not anxious anymore. Go ahead and do it early.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to give her that tap in. I think that's definitely gimme range. What a beautiful
partner inside of 6 inches. You know, we've had a thing here on our feature group coverage this year of marquee names and hole-in-ones. Almost 30 minutes into the show, I thought for a second this thing might hook in.
Oh, that was looking so pretty.
Possible, Amanda, which is kind of crazy to think about where we were when Nelly was winning everything she showed up to play for a month and a half.
I mean, the fact that she won 5 in a row, she won 6 out of 7 events that she played in. It looked like there wasn't a turn. I mean, every tournament she showed up, you just assumed she was going to win, and that she was at least going to be in contention, and definitely had struggled at the Women's U.S. Open. Look at that little tap-in birdie for Rose Zhang, and for Nelly, it really just hasn't been, you know, the second half of the season that we expected.
When she made that birdie effort, then you know that Nasa is going to be in the mix because her ball striking is going to put her in it each and every time she tees it up. So those three golfers depart, and Rose Zhang looking for a better swing with the driver than the one back on 10. Just plays that going draw.
Able to make it to the green in 2. Maybe Rose Zhang might be able to sneak it up, being the longest in this group, averaging 259 off the tee. So maybe she'll be able to get there.
Caddy Ollie Brett walked up to give her the exact wind direction. Saying it's a little down, maybe a little help out of the left. She hit her tree. And the proper leave there opens up the better statistically to try and get it into the hole. But I'll just go ahead and break it out now. Is Rose got the best angle of the three here, Emma?
Yeah, me saying Celine had the hardest. She made it look easy.
Boy, it took a big kick. Well, so much for the easiest angle. All right, we go back to 12 now. Rose Zhang nearly chipped in for birdie at 10. She was not anticipating having a chip for birdie here at 12, though.
She's going back and forth between a wedge and a putter, wedge and a putter. This first cut of rough is just sticky. It's very sticky. She doesn't have much to play with as this downhill slope. So I think she has decided on putter, and she's still talking to her caddy, Ollie, about kind of what the play is. So I think at this point she's thinking par in her head. But as we could see on the last hole, who knows about Rose Zhang? She is seeing the line pretty well, obviously, considering she's getting Celine to move her mark a couple. This is going to swing, take the biggest break the last few feet.
It'll be a little bit dependent on how it just pops out of this first cut of rough, because that can kind of be a little tricky to judge. And that just hopped out, I think, a little bit more than she thought. It hit a little bit harder than she wanted to, so it didn't take the break that she planned. I'm not sure if Celine was going to be able to get a good read off of that. Do a little bit of homework watching Rose's putt.
Got the tree.
Confident with the putter, and Lexi seems to be of the same vein.
Back at 12 before Boutier's birdie effort, Rose has this comebacker to avoid a 6.
That was a good recovery shot. Yeah, well,
Historically, how good of a putter Celine Boutier was, but she struggled this year with the flat stick, and just how that creeps into your mind when you're standing over a putt that, 5 years ago, that's right edge with medium pace, and you just walk to the next tee, and you don't even think about it.
Well, and that also can put so much pressure on the rest of your game as well. Trying to make it.
Yeah. Aspirational clearing of the left side from Lexi Thompson. Rose Zhang, a little bit more textbook in terms of the rhythm and the form, but that one's going to come up a little bit light here at 13. All right, Rose disappointed to leave herself here. Get moving.
Yeah, it looked like it hung up on that fringe a little bit longer than she wanted to. Just the line that she had to take had to really hit it to the left, which would go through the fringe and killed the.
It feels like right now there's a lot of fear about trying to go at the number right now because of how skippy and fast these greens are.
We've seen so many shots come up short because of that. You can see that, you know, it's probably a huge part of discussion with the caddies of yardage and what to hit, but surprising that so many have come up that much short. And then Zhang, did she have enough speed? Oh.
So gives back the birdie at 11 with a bogey here at 13. Back to even par. Again, par might be your friend most of the day here at TPC Boston. First feature group will have to navigate, but before that, Zhang also with driver here at 14. That's a great leave. Still rolling for Rose as she looks to bounce back from her first bogey of the day here in the opening round of the FM Championship. 15th hole, back at 14, it's Zhang.
Rose has about 133 to the flag. She has a bit of a tough lie, downhill slope. Probably has about a pitch and wedge, but it's going to have some release with this downwind, downhill.
And that definitely spun more than I was expecting, probably more than she was expecting with that slight downhill lie. Was able to put a little bit more nip on the ball.
A lot of guesswork right now, Emma, about what the ball's going to do. Zhang, first par 3 over at 11. We've got a knack for calling hole-in-ones around here. Just didn't know that we would have one this early in the broadcast.
I mean, she was staring that down. She put her little, like, it was like she was out of a sword. She was just, yeah, I hit that so good, and it kept getting better and better.
Screen. We go back to 14. Long birdie efforts for this trio here at this par 4.
Yes, you have a long putt that's going to actually be a little left to right, and at the hole, it's actually going to come back. So she's probably just trying to lag this one up there. It is uphill, and from the last hole, she needs to get this one to the hole.
Improving putting numbers this year for Rose. She was kind of a middle-of-the-road putter last year after turning professional, and then this year, about a quarter of a shot gained per round. It's just dangerous information knowing how good she strikes her irons. The putter's getting better and better.
Yeah, she's 16th on the LPGA Tour in greens or regulation, but 54th in putts per green regulation. So when she does get her putter going, that's when we see her with those wins, like at the Founders Cup, where it looked like she just had it in the bag the entire way around.
Ran away from it. And out as part of the Pro-Am. Great sports city, great sports area, and had some Patriots players out yesterday, some Bruins out. Hockey players typically make really good golfers. Zhang now trying to avoid a 3-putt.
Well, baseball players love golf as well, and they had their Pro-Am party at Fenway Park. A pretty cool place to have your pairings party.
Yeah, around the pond here, and oh my. Zhang wide right off the tee here at 15, Emma.
This is a tough fairway to hit, y'all, and both sides have trouble, and Rose is in trouble. She's got a tough lie. She's had 149 yards to this pin, and it's kind of going to Rose with a big upslope on the front, so it's going to be a tough one to get to. I'm sure her and Ollie had a big combo before this one.
So important for her to make sure she just powers through that fescue rough.
All things considered, not too bad there.
Yeah, she's definitely in a good position to get up and down, didn't get herself into more trouble, but that stuff can be so thick that it's easy.
So that was just a moment ago, and then before she played, this was Rose Zhang's effort. She's going with the wedge, and that's a little better.
A lot of these greens have a little bit of a downslope to start the green, and I really think that's why Celine picked the putter. I think she thought, if I can just get it up and over, but she didn't get it up and over. They might be used to last week too.
And that's what I was thinking. I was thinking there was a little bit of just having spent an entire week from putting yards off the green that just kind of bled into this week. That's what you see, the shot.
And Dan Donald is the same as well, you know?
I mean, I'm a huge fan of putting from far away.
Might see it a lot. Rose Zhang's able to get it up and down here, and she stays even par in this opening round.
Close.
Emma, am I crazy? Third at Chevron?
Sorry, guys. Yeah, this is very much like it, especially with this pin location. I will say it's nice not having a 7-iron. They're only probably hitting wedges or 9-irons into this, which is a little bit easier. But, I mean, this knob that the pin location is on today is only about 6 yards wide, and you only have about 4 paces from the right side. So it's a tough way to get to.
And there's that ridge that we have been talking about. Just acts as such a good defense for this hole. Lexi's ball rolled back. And these 2 shots rolled back. They have quite the putt ahead of them.
I do feel
it's so smart for the afternoon groups. The caddies come out in the morning and take some notes. You know, watch some of these holes, see how the ball's reacting, and then help their groups in the afternoon. This Rose Zhang over the knob, really well judged pace.
Steady season for her as well, looking for a close one here at 17.
she had 161 yards to a back right pin. Had a pretty good view of it.
Goodbye.
This has been such a tricky approach shot from what we've seen. Either get caught up on the top.
Play it short here. It's going to skip there.
Well, and that's what I was saying earlier about caddies. The really good ones for the afternoon groups are out there on the golf
watching
course
us
right now. Or now they can watch coverage,
they can, yeah.
which I kind of forget that. Back in the day when I was playing, we didn't have all this different coverage, but being able to actually see what's happening and then go to their players in the afternoon and say, all right, this is what Lexi Thompson did on the 16th, or this is, you know, how the ball reacted, and have just that extra little bit of information, because it is so useful to see from somebody else, see how the ball's reacting on the greens, taking big hops in certain portions or really spinning short. I mean, I would love to see the 10th hole again with the other groups when we have our afternoon coverage. I'm interested to see if they do come up short, like we saw from our featured groups. Almost every ball came up short on the 10th hole.
And what this green will look like in the afternoon after it gets some sunshine, a little bit of air movement on it, and the speed obviously could increase a little bit. It's been amazing. As much coverage as I have on the PGA Tour and here on ESPN Plus PGA Tour live coverage of the Tour Championship coming up in the next 45 minutes or so, it's been stunning to me how many conversations I'll have with caddies and players who will say, if I had an afternoon tee time, woke up in the hotel room, woke up in the rental house, and I flipped on and I watched the featured groups play in the morning for 5 or 6 holes. Breaks on greens, bounces, rollouts in fairways, like every tiny bit of information. Information is power when you have a late tee time.
It's not the, oh, I get to sleep in today. That was the old, if you have an afternoon tee time.
Kind of know all the golf courses, and this one's new to everybody, so maybe I would on a day like today. But I think most of the caddies, I've seen a ton of caddies out here already this morning, walking the golf course looking at it. But, yeah, it's tricky to know what to do. We have Rose Zhang, too, on the back of the screen. I think her caddy probably thought it was the place to miss, but it's into the green.
She opened that club face almost like she was hitting a bunker shot. It really flattened it out to get it an extra spin. Still came out there pretty hot. Boing.
Got a 144 player field, 72 out this morning. Boutier is one of 6 players 3 over. There are another 7 players 4 over. We have 2 5 over par rounds and an 8 over par round here in the early going.
Rose Zhang has another putt that she's going to have to save par for. That my group is definitely showing that this golf course has some teeth on it. They are grinding for pars at moments. This one's just down the hill, a little right to left. One of those speed, matching the speed and line up perfectly. I see this dripping into about 3 o'clock on that cup.
Too hard.
She knew it right when she hit it, that she hit it too hard. Right through the break.
That is a second bogey for Rose to fall back to +1. We've had 4 groups finish at least 9 holes on both sides, so we have data from across the property. At the beard of the Gruffalo right there at the bottom, and
where the wild things are. Exactly.
Yeah. And Rose Zhang right here in the middle of the chest plate.
Rose Zhang has 88 yards this back right pin location. You cannot go long. Like I said before, if you go 2 yards long and 2 yards left, you're off the green and just going to be trying to make a par. So she's got a tough wedge shot coming into this, but thankfully she only has 88 yards.
That looked like such a smooth swing, but that one-handed finish. Oh, she had some spin on that saved it from going long left. Looks like it will trickle that direction, but shouldn't roll all the way down. As I say that, should it hold up? Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of what I was saying. She almost hit it so
she has that knee knocker pace to try to save bogey. This 18th hole is tough. It's currently playing the most difficult hole on the golf course.
It's so nasty, and there's so many ways to play it, you know? I mean, you can do so many things off the tee, and you can do so many things with the second shot. And then with this pin location today as the first round, I mean, anything can happen. It's pretty gnarly. Rose Zhang has about a 20-footer left to right. It's going to break a ton where you see that light spot. Massive left to right turn when it gets up to the top of the slope.
Great effort.
This hole's playing almost half a shot over par. And I'm racking my brain to think the last time of a par 5 playing almost a half a shot over par.
It's a professionally played hole right there from Rose, coming off the bogey at 17.
Rose has given herself a very tricky shot. She's 105 yards. The grass isn't the problem. It's that she's sitting down in a little hole. So I think she's going to be lucky to get this one on the green, guys.
Really need to just take her medicine and hit it into the fat portion of the neck, into the green. Didn't quite get it there. That was just so heavy and buried as well.
No shots on the green on this one.
Well, the group in front of us, this one made it look rather easy.
Set, she would leap over it. She won the individual NCAA. It's like, oh, would she be able to do it again? Be on these teams, she won the U.S. Amateur before she won the U.S. Junior.
Yeah.
And then she comes out on tour, her first professional, or first event as a professional, she goes out and wins. I mean, it's just, and having played really well at a collegiate level and having had those expectations, it makes me really appreciate what she's doing and be in awe, because I know how hard that transition is. It's a little different now because collegiate players are playing in front of cameras. They're playing at the Augusta National Women's Amateur, very heavily televised event. NCAA's is televised. So they're getting that, those reps under their belts at a very young age, which we did not have even when I was in college. The first time I was ever played in front of,
they're all just grinding at the moment. I think that's the part that I'm just so shocked as a player by. When I walked the golf course, I knew it was going to be tricky, but I also saw that there were going to be a lot of wedge shots in, so I thought there were going to be a few birdie opportunities. And now, look here, we're looking at a par, trying to get a par save.
Go. Emma, what's your key to grinding? Like, when you knew it was going to be a tough round, what did you focus on, or what did you do to embrace the grind?
I think this is where the caddy comes in. So a lot of players are going to go a little bit past that or a little bit before that.
Rose setting up to lay this one up. And I guess, Emma, the question is, if you were to pull 3-wood and go for this green, what?
Rose has 90 yards to the hole, a little into off the right, or into off the left, excuse me. And honestly, this is just one of those things that you practice on your TrackMan every week on the range, just trying to dial in those wedge shots.
Emma, do most players on tour now have their own TrackMan they carry with them from tournament to tournament?
Just stayed there on the right edge. Rose Zhang looking for birdie at 2.
It looked like that might have a chance to fall in. It was a really good pace, but have been tricked by these slopes.
There's kind of a spine up here. If you hit it on the left side of the spine, it's going to kind of go left. If you hit it on the right side of the spine, it'll stay towards the hole. So definitely want to get the right distance and stay on that right side of the green.
Rose still searching for a little something in this opening round, and that's going to be short-sighted. Leads by 1. Rose Zhang is 6 back of the lead. Early birdie for Rose, 3 bogeys since, and now short-sighted in the bunker here at the par 3.
She is not in a great place, guys. I mean, how unlucky to get on that downslope. I don't even know if she got the on upslope, it would have been completely different and pretty easy. But off this downslope, she's almost just taking her medicine.
I always felt with bunkers, if you had a good lie, I'd much rather be in a bunker than chipping, especially with these thick rough. But then you can also
angle. But again, you can't force the issue and try and get it up near the green. While we wait for that, here's Rose for par.
She was just being so delicate with that. That could have easily have gotten away from her if she had been more aggressive. We'll tap in.
93 yards for Rose. She just saw her partner get a bounce, so I don't know if she's going to try to get the bounce or land it all the way at the flagstick and get some spin on this one.
Oh, she took a right at it, a little risky play, but wow, did it pay off.
And take a look at her ranks this year. Again, there's been so many other massive stories. It's hard to really make a lot of waves in a year where Nellie's done what she's done, where Lydia has done what she's done. But you look at those numbers. I mean, she's a top 10 player in the world and on the LPGA Tour with a win this year that was pretty dominant. It's just you forget about it sometimes when you're basking in the glow of two all-timers that have done some crazy things. It's just her second year as a pro, and she's still just 21 years old. I mean, it feels as if she's got a Nelly type of season or a Lydia type of...
Go through, kind of slam the club into the sand to get it to pop up, which is exactly what she did.
So she's got to look for her par. Well, we have two others on the green here looking for birdie, and certainly much needed for Rose Zhang at +3 and Celine Boutier at +4.
Yeah, this is a left to right, just down the hill, kind of like Amy's put on the last hole, just matching up the speed and the break. It's just outside the hole. Line it up and trust the speed.
And we're at the 5th, where Rose Zhang is driven it a bit crooked today. Her 4th missed fairway, and she has found some really gnarly spots off the tee today.
She's got about 170 yards. She's got some room to work with, thank goodness. It's on the front of the screen, so she really just needs to get it up there, just short of the green, and it will roll right up there with these firm greens out of this rough. It is sitting down a bit, so it's going to be a bit tricky, but anywhere on the green, she'll be happy with it.
Good speed there. Get running, little lady. Oh, now stop. Now stop. Sorry, stop.
You gave too much advice.
That is contradictory ball talk right there.
Well, for Rose,
where they probably wanted her to be, anywhere on the green was going to be good. So you might see Ollie get on the ground, make some moves.
He's going to aim point it. He's going to... Don't do push-ups when you can read it with your feet.
I don't know if you guys know, but he's kind of the aim point guru out here. He's been teaching a lot of players aim point. You'll see him after the rounds, and he's out there teaching other players how to aim point, which you don't see much of that out here.
It is infectious on the PGA Tour. It is everywhere now in the men's game after they outlawed the greens reading books, as he's given her the slope here down the hill.
You don't see many college players not using it too, so with Rose being so young, I know that she is using it probably every day.
coming off of that knob, see if it looks good. Oh, it just kind of sped up. I thought it was going to be a lot closer. That just really released down that hill. Emma, are you an aim point player?
Looking for answers as Rose looks for par back at 5. Good 2-putt there. Rally. And Rose Zhang just needs a good tee ball here.
It's so cute, guys. There's so many little kids watching her and saying, "Go Rose, go Rose."
Yeah, great crowds already. I mean, they were out with our featured groups a couple of holes in. Ticket sale numbers have been great. Take golf to a, just outside a major metropolitan area that doesn't have as much high-level professional golf as it once did, and they are salivating to see the world's best play here this week. That looked a little more better.
Her driving, she's 79th in driving distance, about 259. She's 141st in driving accuracy. So like I was saying earlier, just kind of that.
Zhang definitely has the best lie of the three of this group. She has 127, hit that 285 off the tee, 290, kind of ripped it. These three girls have all kind of hit it a similar distance, and I don't know if you noticed, but Celine and Rose really bombed it past Amy on that one. But Rose Zhang, 127 yards, wind has died down. I think this is a go-getter.
About go inner. Oh, thought I was going to get one skip away from being really good.
That was right at it. Just stopped on that number instead of taking a early this season in Singapore. She's been fairly consistent, so a miscut would be a big surprise.
Rose has about a 18-foot putt, 15 to 18-foot putt, just up the hill. I think this one is something that she's probably thinking back at the cup with. She is going to have to get this one to the hole. She hasn't had a ton of birdie looks today, so I'm sure she would love to get one under her belt and get it back just to over par for the day.
And she had that playing so much break, and it tried to trickle back to the right.
I think that one thing's so interesting is, Amanda, the younger girls these days with their aim point and with, you know, all the things. I just saw Rose ask if Amy was okay if she stepped over, and I played at Mizuho, and a lot of these amateurs, they just are stepping in people's lines.
So you don't have to mark that.
You see 4 missed fairways today for Rose. She kind of plays that going draw. A couple of tee shots today, it's gone too much, and a few others just hasn't started for her. That one overcooks. That lie looks good enough. Back at the par 5 7th, our second feature group of this morning wave. Getting ready for their third shots here at the par 5. Rose Zhang drove it in trouble. There you see Lauren Coughlin and another player in our view this morning, Gino Thidikun, tied for the lead, 4 under par, each with 2 holes to go on opposite sides of the golf course. Nice little 69 from Yuri Yoshida today. There's a few names on that board right there that were well outside the number in the race to the CME Globe. Yoshida entered the week 127th in the race to CME Globe. You see pride of the Texas Longhorns, Caitlin Pat Buddy down there. She was 120th entering the week in the race to CME Globe, so a very important week. This is the 24th of 33 LPGA events before a little bit of time off for those that are not playing in the Solheim Cup to try and build some fall momentum. Rose Zhang getting set for her third after she drove it in trouble here at the 7th.
I am. Hello, everybody. Good to be with you guys. Yep, Rose will be first to play. She had a tricky second shot, like you said, after putting it in some rough on the left. So see if she can recover with this shot. And that just hit a tree branch.
Sure did. And kicks it above the bunker over there, so didn't judge the lie and how that ball was going to come out. Clips the top branch, couldn't flight it underneath it, and Rose maybe on her way to making a number here.
Yeah, that had to have been just a misjudge on round tomorrow. You know, make the cut, see the weekend.
Short-sided, really nowhere to go with this, and look at Rose Zhang. Hello.
What tree trouble having to scramble. Coming weeks to just feel confident going into the Solheim Cup will be important.
That is a scramble in 5 I've ever seen. Yeah, she's got to laugh at that one. I mean, bad tee shot, bad layup, misjudged the lie, hit a tree, short-sided. What'd you make? 5. I made 5. Out there right now.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't feel much wind at all. I mean, the trees aren't moving. It might have picked up just a little bit, but it doesn't seem like enough to, you know, affect the shot by any means.
Oh, look at that. Rose has only hit half of the greens in regulation today. And a lot of that stat has to do with how many fairways she has missed. So she's put herself in some tough spots. This year she is 16th on tour in greens and regulation, so that's one of her stronger suits. But when you're hitting behind, really besides those poor shots, when she made that double on 2, she's been very consistent all day.
Yeah, that dropped her to 3 over, but 2 under par golf since. Rose Zhang was 1 under, nearly had a hole-in-one on her 2nd hole of the day. But this has been a common refrain. Her staring off in the distance at a tee ball that's flirting with the rough. Never talk food after lunchtime on a broadcast. So that group complete. Disappointing finish really there for Titicum to get in at 69. That is 1 behind Lauren Coughlin, who is playing the last. And Kira Rahi-Jarvi, who's gotten him back to 4 under par, or gotten to 4 under par to join the lead. Rose Zhang 7 off that lead number.
So I don't mind if you play 40.
Rose has about 142 to the pin, and I just want to let you know, guys, I have not seen any lobster rolls in player dining yet, but I will be on the lookout.
That is a bogey right there. That might be a double bogey. And she is going to miss half of her greens today.
It's definitely been a surprise.
Week if she were to maintain position near the top of the leaderboard. Rose Zhang doesn't have to worry about the race to the CME Globe. She'll be there at the Tour Championship, 15th entering the week, but trying to rally tomorrow after a sluggish start today. Missed her 9th green of the round here at her final hole, the 9th. That one skates on by. Golf course playing right around 2 shots over par. 73.94, so Rose needs to make that for 75 and would still be above the scoring average today here at TPC Boston.
I just saw Celine and Amy's caddy give each other a big hug. I think they're maybe a little relieved that this round is over and they can now just focus on tomorrow. Rose Zhang will be last to play on her final hole of the day.
Side door catch there for Rose Zhang. And like Boutier, we'll have to hustle up tomorrow afternoon and find a little bit better golf. Birdies were few and far between. Again, Yang makes 3 of them. 3 of the 4 total from this group today as this featured trio wraps up day 1 here at the FM Championship. Over on the other side, Lauren Coughlin bogeys 18. The par 5 is the hardest hole on the golf course, so she shoots 69. So the low number in the house right now is 3 under par.